welcome back, ladies, gentlemen, kids, one and all, to the greatest show on the upcoming UEFA Euros 2020-2021. Welcome to Eurowatch. I'm Ritik Sarkar.
And I am Alex Barker, or Euro expert. I don't know which one to go with there.
And welcome to our show. If you've been following us from before, just a quick refresher. Alex and I have been recording Eurowatch. We've been getting content ready for you so you can be completely clued in to this year's upcoming Euros. Welcome back to our previous listeners, and welcome to new ones of you who are just tuning in. Today, Alex and I are going to be talking about something that really doesn't get talked about a bit. We're going to be talking about the captains, from the legendary figures of yesteryear, from people like Carles Puyol, people like Bernd Schuster, people like Frank Rijkaard. We're going to be talking a little bit about how the captains now fare off. Going to see how captains and their roles have changed, and whether or not we really do need a captain in a football team anymore. Alex, what's your thought on that hot take?
Oh, that's something. I think the captain's kind of spread. The role is spread around, I guess, now, because it's like, you know, you've got you have different members of a dressing room that will do like the team motivation things. I don't think it's on one person. But then again, I don't know how it's always been. Maybe in the past a bit more importance is played on them. Now I feel like it's a bit more, I don't know, I feel it's less important, but I guess we're going to see. Certainly some of the people we've got in here feel less important, but we're going to get into them. I'll say as well, so this is Ritik's idea. It's a really good idea, but I've taken it and ran with it. We're going to run through.
He's run with it. Trust me.
We're going to be going through every captain of every team. We're going to try and cap it ourselves to 2 minutes per captain at maximum. I'm going to rank their importance out of 10. What we think their importance to the team is out of 10. Ritik, would you like to start us off?
Well, okay, we're going to start off with the tastiest group, because I know that you guys are always here for the beginning 10 minutes when Alex and I banter. So we're going to start you off with the group of death. Dun, dun.
Okay, let's go. Group of F.
Yeah, we're going all the way to F. And to start things off, we have Germany's Manuel Neuer. Now, For people confused as to why Neuer is captain, we share in your hesitance here at Eurowatch, because here at Eurowatch we haven't been kind to Joachim Löw, and Manuel Neuer was one of the only, we'd say, senior members of the squad who kept his place when Löw decided to exile Thomas Müller, Mats Hummels, and Jerome Boateng, all three of whom would have made pretty decent captains. And Manuel Neuer, the man in goal, was trusted with the captain's armband. Now, we've seen people like Iker Casillas before lifting trophies, leading from the back, but Neuer's not really leading a team or leading close to the same team that won the World Cup a couple of years back. And I don't know, Alex, even as a goalkeeper right now, I'm very against the idea of a goalkeeper being captain.
I'm less of that. I don't think about it as too much. But my contribution to Neuer is that the only remembrance I have of him, at least to the national team, is that Löw was going to drop him for ter Stegen, and then what's his name? The uptight prick at Bayern. Oh yeah, that's the one. Yeah, that's the one. Spot on. He came out and said, "I will stop any German player playing for the German national team if Manuel Neuer is dropped." So
yeah, the clarification there is any German player from Bayern Munich.
Oh yeah, any German player. Sorry, yeah.
Uli Hoeneß didn't go full Hitler there.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I will say I have got but I'm sticking to our times, because I know I personally like to waffle on. I am going to say that Neuer is of 7 out of 10 importance to Germany.
Yeah, I would agree. And going on from that spicy take, we're going on to another keeper captain, defending World Cup winning captain and leader of Tottenham Hotspur as well. Actually, not leader of Tottenham Hotspur, but the man between the Spurs sticks. It's Hugo Lloris.
Yes. I'll kick this off. As someone who's watched the Tottenham All or Nothing, when Hugo Lloris was injured and a certain other player from Tottenham was leading the team talks for the team, they were a lot worse than when Hugo Lloris came back in. And he actually looks... You know what? I've seen a bit more of him as a captain behind the scenes, if you can call it. And he does look like a great leader. Now, he had a bit of a blunder in the last World Cup final, but he's... You know what? I don't think his position is quite under threat. I think this is a high-ranking captain, Rittik, especially to the French national team. I guess he's one of the more senior players.
He's been Deschamps' captain for a minute.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna straight off the bat, I'm gonna say a 9 out of 10 importance for Hugo Lloris.
I'd give Hugo Lloris an 8 out of 10. I guess in the team you have a lot of players who have leadership characteristics, and Hugo Lloris is basically the guy who the defenders ahead of him saying, "Well, you know, if we fuck up, Hugo will handle it," and that's pretty much
or he will squirm it into his own net.
Just like the final of the World Cup.
Yeah.
Moving on from that gargantuan to another one, we have the captain of the defending European captain, I would say. Yeah, I think that's correct. It's Cristiano Ronaldo. At the sprightly young age of 36, he's possibly going to play his last European tournament, last Euro Championships, although God knows he's more fit than anybody else in the Serie A or the Portuguese national team. I think Ronaldo is the epitome of do by example. Ronaldo will always set the bar as high to show everybody what you need to win. He's pulled Portugal by the scruff of their necks to draws and victories in qualifying campaigns, in matches, in tournaments. I think Ronaldo really emphasizes that captain, that leadership figure. You know, he's not really tactically pointing people one way or the other. But when you see Ronaldo on the pitch, you feel a lot safer.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say. I mean, at the beginning of this, I was thinking, I don't know, because Ronaldo, whenever he's in the team, like it's that classic thing like Messi, right? Whenever he's in the team, it feels like everyone's playing towards Ronaldo, and there's the argument: are Portugal better off without him? But I would imagine 9 out of 10. I don't know. I feel like as a captain, he's a bit too whiny at times. I don't know why.
He's a bit too whiny sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't think he's a full 10 out of 10, you know. But I'm gonna give him a 9 out of 10. What about you?
I would say 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10. No one deserves a 10, so 9 out of 10.
We'll be debating that, Rittik, about who.
We'll be debating that.
Let's move on to the last captain of Group F, the most exciting one. It's Artem Szalai.
Szalai.
The Hungarian captain who plays for FC Mainz. Rittik, this guy, he's a striker. Do you know how many goals he's got? He's got 1 in his last 16 appearances.
And that one goal came, I believe, very recently, and it was his first goal since December 2019.
Oh, what a hero he is. And you know what? Mainz obviously are having a great season too. They're 6 points off the relegation spaces.
They survive. If you want a captain, who knows how to survive. In many ways, I feel like Szalai, and especially being at Mainz, is the perfect ground to really lead the Hungarian team, because he knows how to fight. I'll give him that. He knows how to fight.
He was at Real Madrid's B team, so I think I'm gonna have to give him a 5 out of 10.
I'd say 6 out of 10, because there's a lot of expectation on him, and if he does just like score or assist or like shouts at one defender and the defender starts doing better, he'll have done his job. It's an impossible task ahead of him, so nothing to lose.
Okay, I'm gonna pick the next group. We're gonna go to, because you threw me out the picture there. I'm gonna go to my favourite group in terms of the facts. We are gonna go to Group B. Rittik, I'd like to kick you off with Russia, please.
Artem Dzyuba.
Can I read it? I don't know if you already have. Have you already read this?
I have.
Oh, okay.
I have read it, but I'll let Alex go. Alex is a bit of a way with words sometimes, and I feel like this is primed and ready.
So Artem Dzyuba, Dzyuba, he's the captain of Russia. He's scored 16 goals in 26 matches this season, 6 assists. The 32-year-old, he's doing pretty good. Obviously, he's played for Russia for quite a long time, played in the Russian Premier League. Generally successful striker. he's had a bit of controversy. In, if anyone remembers William Saliba, I mean, I don't need to say anyone remembers. Everyone knows of William Saliba. Imagine that times 10. On November 8th, 2020, Dzyuba was actually dropped from the Russian national team ahead of matches against Moldova, Turkey and Serbia, big nations, after an explicit video depicting him masturbating leaked and went viral on Russian social media. So,
what a proper Slav.
His reputation's a bit balanced, I'd say.
In the mud.
Yeah. Rittik, based off that, what would you give Dzyuba out of 10?
Honestly, if given this context, I'd actually give him a 7, and I'll tell you why. He's a constant threat for Russia. He has absolutely no shame. Absolutely no shame. His response to the entire issue on the video leaking was like, yeah, shit happens. Okay. And technically, he's not done anything wrong. It's just embarrassing. And he clearly doesn't feel much shame about it. And I think that's good. I think that's a good thing for Russia. It's like, yeah, it's happened. You've watched it. Everyone's watched it. Your mom's watched it. My wife's watched it. Big shit. Now we're just going to go on and play again. And he's a tough nut, like most of Russia's players. He's a tough nut to crack. And yeah, I fancy his chances, but then again, I don't really fancy Russia's chances. So, middle of the road, actually, I'll take that 7 down, put on a 6.
You know what? If we're ranking the importance to the team, I think I'm going to have to go for a 9 because I feel like he'll bring the squad together laughing at him. Like, he'll be in the dressing room, and I imagine there's going to be lots of puns. Like, I hope we beat the team today. Dzyuba, beat. I don't know what beat is in Russian, but yeah, I think, you know what, importance to the team, I'm going to go over 9 out of 10. I assume they got thrashed by those teams where he didn't play, because clearly he's very important. Rittik, trying to pick the next team.
I'm actually going to go to maybe someone who people don't really know too much about. It's Simon Kjaer. I actually had the very distinct pleasure of meeting Simon Kjaer when he was a guest for the Indian Super League. This was, God knows, back in 2012.
Oh my God, this is good facts.
Yeah. For the publication I was working with at the time, I got a press pass, and he happened to be there, and not many people knew who he was. And we were talking a little bit about, the art of being a defender. I got all of like 2 minutes from him before he had to be scurried off. But a very, very solid person to talk to. And he's 32 now. He's probably maybe 25 then. He's much, much younger, as I was too. Poor Alex must have been a proper schoolboy at that point. But diverting back, he is a very important player for Milan. He is a hard nut defender. He obviously has been captaining the Danish national team for a while. He captained the under-19s. He's someone who's had leadership throughout the international part of his career.
So when you met him, did he like inspire you to play games against Belgium, Finland, and Russia? Was he that sort of figure?
He was that sort of figure. It was like, yeah, have confidence in yourself, and you won't be embarrassed. It's that kind of straightforward guy.
They say don't meet your heroes, but Simon Kjaer. What would you rank him?
I would rank him a solid 8. I feel like he's the kind of player, like Denmark have gone through different periods in their history where they've given the captaincy to like their most important player, and I'm pretty much against that policy. Obviously, Eriksen is having a completely different season at Inter Milan right now. Obviously, he's won, and he used to be the captain off and on, but I think Kjaer is the right-hand captain. I love centre-backs as captains. I think it's a very good position. You see the whole team, you see what's happening, and you're able to lead from the back as well. I'd give Kjaer a solid 8.
8 out of 10. Yeah, that's fair. He's won 60% of his duels, tackles, and aerial duels. Kept 3 clean sheets for Milan. We're recording this before they play Juventus tonight. I'm gonna match that and say 8 out of 10. I trust your word.
Yeah.
I would like to go to Finland next.
Yes, the land of the Formula 1 champions.
You have weird minnow knowledge. Did you ever hear of the Finnish captain, 34-year-old Tim Sparv?
I cannot say I have. I
Well,
cannot say I have.
let me tell you about him. He plays for AE Larissa in the Greek first tier.
Oh wow!
Yeah, he's got 1 goal this season. Big up. I don't know what else because the Greek first tier doesn't release stats. But the most noteworthy thing here is that Sparv is in a relationship with Jitka Novachkova, a Czech model and the winner of the Czech Miss Beauty 2011 beauty pageant.
Welcome to Eurowatch, where you get the stats that no one else gives you. We give you the stats you deserve.
Exactly. I would like to say purely based off that he must be very important. You know what? I think she's out of his league. So I think that must mean he inspires confidence. So I'm gonna have to.
But I will say Tim Sparv has an 11 on 10 period. So I think that ups whatever lack of league he has.
I was gonna give him a 6 out of 10. So I'm gonna round it up to a 7 for that. That's a very important point, Ritik. Thank you for giving that.
Fair 7. Fair 7.
Yeah.
And
7.
From the hot topics, we're moving on to a bit more of a depressing bit more of a depressing thing. It's Belgium. It's the Red Devils. And they're going to be led either by the thickest man in the universe, Eden Hazard, or the Spurs' former ace, Jan Vertonghen. Now, I'll set the scene for you here. Jan Vertonghen came to Benfica as sort of their captaincy Ruben Dias replacement. And he was thoroughly mocked by Portuguese attackers and everybody in his first 4 games. I think he conceded like 6 goals, missed like 20% of his aerial duels. It was an absolute mare. Since then, however, the 34-year-old has become the captain of Benfica, kept 11 clean sheets. Well, not done enough to prevent Sporting Club de Portugal to get their first title since 2001, but nonetheless, he is a leader. He is someone I don't think Spurs should have let go of at all in any way possible. And if there was someone you actually had to choose to be the Belgian captain, I'd rather it be Vertonghen, because Eden Hazard's fallen off a cliff since the last World Cup. And a lot of people said that he should have been given the Golden Ball Player of the Tournament over Luka Modric, but I don't see it. I think Eden Hazard epitomizes everything about a guy who is pretty much checked out. He's got the number 7 jersey, gets paid 250,000 euros a week, and he scored fewer goals in 2.5 years than Chicharito did for Real Madrid in one lone season.
I hear the logic you're speaking, Ritik, but as previously shown on Eurowatch, I like to counter that logic with in logic, and I will say Jan Vertonghen has clearly turned it around. Can he inspire a nation's media to put up a hate campaign against him within 3 hours, like Eden Hazard did on Wednesday against Chelsea, where he created the funniest video I think I've ever seen in my life with Josip Pedro. By the way, that was the same station Peros is on to show the Super League. We've all seen it. I think based off that, Eden Hazard might have to be the pick for me, but I'll rate Vertonghen a 7 out of 10 too. But Hazard off that, it's got to be a 9. What about you, quickly?
Hazard 7, Vertonghen 8.
Okay,
depending on whoever goes for it.
Halfway point. Pick the next group.
Well. I am gonna go for Group A. I know Alex is cracking his knuckles right now because he's excited. I'm actually going to start with sort of the minnows of Group A. It'd be Granit Xhaka of Switzerland.
I so thought you were going to do me dirty there. And it's going
No.
That would have been funny.
The hot sauce hasn't come out yet. Granit Xhaka is sort of like, and this is going to be the worst pun, he's Switzerland's Swiss Army knife.
Get in the bin.
Switzerland have played a variation of a back 4 and a back 3. Xhaka's played everywhere from central midfield, defensive midfield, centre back, left centre mid, and left back as well. And I like Granit Xhaka as a player in the sense that I liked what he used to be. I thought Arsenal would be the right step up for him, but as the past 5 years have shown, is that Arsenal is not the right step up for anybody. I don't even think it's the right step up for Bukayo Saka. I hope he leaves. Um,
Oh.
that notwithstanding, Granit Xhaka as a captain has had a bit of a rocky history. He was stripped of the captaincy by Arsenal because of various indiscretions. Without going too deep into it, but to his credit, he's bounced back and he's kept his head down now. And as a player, he's doing better. He's a hothead. He's a good player. He's a mercurial presence. And even though he has a red card in him, I think that's the kind of guy you want to lead your nation.
Yeah, I think
Because
he's been. I think he's been. This has been his most competent season as well, particularly his performances at left
yes,
back. Like he's been limited at left back, obviously, especially since Arteta hasn't really. Like, it's not like João Cancelo at left back, where it's like, all right, Pep.
Oh,
Pep
God.
goes, all right, you go left back, and it means you're going to come inside and do these great passes. Arteta says, go at left back and play like Kieran Tierney, and Jack is like, no. But I think he's been competent, and I think you hit the nail on the head there. I would like to kick it off and say, I'd like to go with an 8 out of 10 for Xhaka. Don't worry, we will have some 4 and 3 out of 10s
Proper
coming up soon.
proper it. Yeah. Definitely. Moving on from the nice white cross, we're going to go to the Red Dragon, and we're going to talk about Alex and my favorite team of the Euros. It is Wales.
Don't include me in that. They're not my favourite.
Of course, endless source of banter. Ryan Giggs is still not been reinstated as the full captain. He's pending, God knows, a mountain of legal action against him, which we've always
FA's
talked
fallen
about.
apart too.
He's fallen apart, and their leader supposedly is Gareth Bale. And you know what? I'll say this: Bale has had an n number of problems with Real Madrid, and even this season with Spurs. Don't let his goal tally and stat padding fool you. But Gareth Bale always gives his best for Wales. He always does give his best for Wales. You can't spell Wale without Ale, and you can't spell Bale without Ale either. So he is, I think, out of everybody in Wales, like when he comes into the pitch, he starts either as a left winger, right winger, left midfielder. He'll become a centre forward if need be. I think for Wales, Gareth Bale always puts his best foot forward. And it was that famous flag, right? Did it say Wales, Golf, Madrid in that order?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Bale sticks to that. Bale definitely sticks to that. And I think in the absence of Ryan Giggs possibly absent from the touchline or absent from the whole picture, I think Gareth Bale will be exactly what Wales needs to mount some kind of charge to this.
I think you've made some solid points there, and I think I have to agree. I think Gareth Bale's probably, he's had a lot of problems at Madrid, but on his when he will put the effort in for Wales. Like he will put the best version of himself in for Wales, and I also think he's probably Wales' best player. And to reflect that, I do have to give him a rating of 3 out of 10.
I see that. I would give him a solid 7.
No, I think he's finished. I think he's. It's like midweek when everyone was saying, there was hype saying, "Oh, Eden Hazard's starting for Real Madrid tonight against Chelsea." It means that Eden Hazard's really motivated for it. And I'm like, yeah, I could probably motivate someone's corpse. It doesn't mean they're going to win a football match. So yeah, Bale was a 3 out of 10 for me.
Alrighty. From one balding man to another, we're gonna be talking about Leonardo Bonucci / Giorgio Chiellini. My metaphor applies to both of them for Italy. The last of the summer wild of Italy. They say in Italy that players age like fine wines as well, and no more has that been apparent than with Leonardo Bonucci and Giorgio Chiellini, who both were part of that 2006 World Cup winning team.
Oh my God, they're so
actually
old.
Bonucci made the squad for the group stages. I don't think he played. No, but Giorgio Chiellini was definitely there. He was like just starting off his career, and they've been through all of Italy's history since then. Since not qualifying for World Cup, since getting chucked out of Euro, since reaching a Euro final, they've been there. And I don't think there's anybody else right now who you should consider for the Italian national team captain. And captains matter a lot in Italy. Captains matter a huge deal, from the likes of Fabio Cannavaro to Chiellini to Baresi and Maldini of yesteryear. Italian they take their captains really seriously, and they're both old. This is probably going to be their last tournament. I don't think they're going to make the World Cup. Probably Bonucci is going to be captain, but at the back, I think Mancini really trusts either one of them.
Yeah, it depends. It depends who starts, because when I was looking for it, like, just to make it clear, listeners, when we say slash, it's because it's a bit unclear. When Chiellini isn't playing, Bonucci is the captain, and when Chiellini plays, he is the captain. But Chiellini's played 13 starts. But also, I think it's fair for this question, Ritik, that I think Bonucci and Chiellini are two players in the world that you could effectively call the same. Like, they're two balding old men who are rock hard centre backs and not much else. So, but I actually do hear you, especially the Italian captaincy point. I'm not going to make a joke out of it like I did Bale. I would like to go. I don't think they're anywhere near the levels of like a Baresi or a Maldini. So I'm going to go over 6 out of 10 for both of them.
I'd actually take it as 8, because both of them know how to win and both of them know how to reach finals. Right. And especially with how highly I rate Italy's chances, you need the balance of the youth and experience. And I think they're going to bring it. This is their last tournament. This is their final hurrah.
Let's meet in the middle then and go 7. That leads us to our last team in Group A. Oh, would you look at that? It says Turkey, Burak Yilmaz, in brackets 10 out of 10. Don't even try it, Ritik J. Well, you know what that means. Well, no, Ritik, you start it off. So Burak Yilmaz obviously is a 10 out of 10. I'm joking. No, go on.
Hard man, tough as nails. Alex obviously has been, if you've been following EuroExpert_ on Twitter, you know how much Alex wants this Lille dream to be achieved, and the centerpiece of that Lille dream is Burak Yilmaz. So Alex, take it away. Why is Burak Yilmaz the right man to lead Turkey?
Because he has been he's been the definition of a leader for Lille, in a team where there is an experience, there is youth. They haven't got to this stage before. Yilmaz has stepped in and turned into one of the best players in Europe. He's scoring belters from all over the place. He's banging in free kicks like prime Pirlo. And he's leading the line like prime Michael Owen. Whether it's racing in behind or holding the ball up like Drogba. He's genuinely been probably the player of the month for Lille for May and possibly April as well. Been absolutely phenomenal. And when I think of leader now, I do think of Burak Yilmaz. So I was half joking when I wrote down 10 out of 10, don't even try Ritik J. But genuinely, I don't think there is a better leader on this list than Burak Yilmaz, at least what's been shown up this season.
Yeah, fully agree. I'd even go as far as to say 10 out of 10. Alex and I both really, really want Turkey to do well. And hell, if they reach the finals or they even win this tournament, I'd say chuck Erdogan out, put in Yilmaz in. let him lead the Turkish nation.
There we go.
From there, we're actually going to go to Group C, because I think there are a lot of interesting stories here, and I'm actually going to start it off by talking about my favorite team in this entire tournament, the youngest nation in this entire tournament. It's North Macedonia. And you're probably wondering, why is he talking about such a minnow nation? I'll tell you why. It's because the centerpiece of North Macedonia is a man named Goran Pandev. And if you talk about like Bonucci and Chiellini aging like a fine wine, this guy takes that to another level. He's a proper 21-year-old Scotch. Goran Pandev, for those of you, young enough to remember, was one of Jose Mourinho's centerpieces in the Inter Milan team that won the treble so many years ago. I believe it was 2009, Alex, I think it was, when Jose Mourinho led them to a treble. It was ages ago. And Goran Pandev is 37 years old right now, and he's just scored his 100th goal. 100 goal in Europe's top 5 leagues.
Oof.
He's played in all of these leagues. And He's always remembered fondly. He just scored a hat trick. I think he became the oldest ever player in the Serie A to score a hat trick when he netted 3 against Benevento. Um, and he's just great. And obviously, you have a few other players in the North Macedonian team, but they've reached this tournament for the first time. He's played a pivotal role in all the qualifications,
I'm
and
sensing
I
a
don't
high
think it's
rating.
gonna. I'm gonna give him a straight 9. I'm gonna give him a straight 9 because obviously he knows the whole rigmarole. He's been through all of these top leagues. He's scored. He knows how to get goals for both club and country, and I just like a good story. And I'm gonna rate Goran Pandev pretty
Well,
high. I'm gonna give him
you
a
match
9.
my rating for Burak Yilmaz, so I'm gonna wholeheartedly back you and say a 9 out of 10 for Goran Pandev. Let's move to Ukraine now, where I'll take it off because this is a bit more of a slightly serious one, Ritik. I've kind of left you in our pod notes with a small bit of info, so you introduce it. What I've written down.
Well, so Alex has obviously written down Andrei Pyatov, a 36-year-old player for Shakhtar. He is the quote-unquote historic captain. Safest man between the sticks. But Alex has also said / Alexander Zinchenko. Now, as a lot of you who might be following the Premier League know, that Zinchenko is pretty much Pep Guardiola's preferred man at left back. And he is doing fantastic work both in the Premier League and in the Champions League. He's probably the best player in that team. And as much as I despise best players being captains, I think there's a fair argument to make. Alex, tell us a bit more about this Zinchenko inclusion.
Yes, because Zinchenko, I'm writing about this actually at the moment. Zinchenko is being used by manager Andrei Shevchenko as a midfielder. He's combined his odd attacking instincts with defensive instincts, and he's recently been made captain. And this was following one of the last appearances he made in Ukraine for in 2020, where he played against Germany. He made a bit of a bad error, and he received death threats from Ukraine fans, which is generally, I'm not from Ukraine, but it feels generally a little unnecessary because Ukraine have never, for context, they've made it to one World Cup before. They've, in the last 2 Euros, they've accumulated 1 win and 0 draws and I think 10 losses or 11 losses, sorry. So they've been a nation of pretty much disappointment. But Zinchenko made one error against Germany, and I think it was literally just UEFA Nations League. He received death threats for it. And Shevchenko seems to have responded by this, and he's made the 23, at the time, now 24-year-old, I believe, the captain of Ukraine. And
he deserves it.
Yeah, and they drew every one of the games he's captained, which is pretty decent for Ukraine because their record's a little spotty. I think it was an interesting move. Obviously, it's really hard to judge him at the moment, so I'm gonna give him a 6 out of 10. But I thought it was an interesting story.
Yeah, 6, possibly going to a 7, depending on if Ukraine win a game. But from one young and sprightly, we're going to old and injured because we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about the Netherlands. There's obviously the big elephant in the room, the 6'5" elephant in the room, known as Virgil van Dijk. There are rumors that he'll be fit for the Euros, although I can imagine Jurgen Klopp coming straight to Frank de Boer with a knife, saying, "Don't you dare touch Virgil. Let him rest. You guys don't have much of a chance in the tournament anyway. Don't take him." Obviously, if Van Dijk isn't there, there are a couple of people who will lead the Netherlands. I know Alex has written down Daley Blind, but Georgino Wijnaldum has been given the captain's armband in Van Dijk's absence. And he's not had a good season. I think the last campaign he had with Liverpool a year ago, much better. But I don't think the Netherlands are very short on leadership figures. Obviously, Daley Blind has captained Ajax before. He's kept the armband on a number of occasions. But they do have younger leaders like Matthias de Ligt. They have experienced players like Memphis, and as well as Stefan de Vrij. So it's hard to say, Alex. We've talked a lot about the Netherlands. I mean, who would you like to see, wearing the captain's armband if Van Dijk doesn't make it?
I think Wijnaldum. I think Wijnaldum would be a nice spot because he generally, it's weird for his nation. He feels like a big fish in a small pond, where in Liverpool it's the complete opposite. So it'd be nice to see him lead his nation at the captain's armband. And if it's Ronaldo, I'd like to give him. I'd like to give him a 7 out of 10.
I'm giving a solid 6. Solid 6.
Solid 6. Okay, I'll take it to our penultimate group, and we're going to go to Group D.
We haven't finished with Group C yet,
have we
Alex.
Have we not? Oh my goodness! I'm so sorry.
Much like everybody at Bayern Munich, he has forgotten about Alaba and Austria.
Ah, I see what you did there. Well,
not so fast there. Not so fast.
Yeah, forgive me, please. So we will touch on Austria. I couldn't find an official captain. I believe it's Julian Baumgartlinger from Leverkusen, who started 12 games this season. I think he's been injured and missed matches. So when he hasn't played, I think it's been David Alaba. Yeah.
Much like Zinchenko, Alaba plays a plethora of positions. I believe for Austria, he plays at central defensive midfield and or left center mid. He's not really in the defense, but he has slowed down. He has had injuries, and he's still a very capable player. I don't like the amount of slander I hear on Alba's name. I really don't like it. And I think he's a good leader. He's proven that for Austria before. He started off as a very young age. Alex, do you believe he's only 27? Or I think 28.
Wait, David Alba's only 28?
Yeah, that's how long he's been playing at the highest level.
He's like the reverse Jesse Lingard.
I know, right?
Oh my god!
And he's gonna move to Real Madrid, I believe, this season. His contract runs out at Bayern Munich.
I thought he was in his early 30s. That move all of a sudden means a lot more to me now for Real Madrid. Damn, I didn't realise that. Oh, I was going to give him a 5 out of 10 to annoy you, but just for the fact he's Benjamin Button in disguise, I'm going to give Alaba, assuming he's captain and Baumgartlinger doesn't really play, I'm going to give David Alaba a 6 out of 10.
I'm going to give him a 7. I think he has it within him to give Austria their moment.
Okay, now we're going to move to a funnier captain in Group D, because I'm picking a nation from Group D, our penultimate group, Ritik. We're going to England, and we're going to Harry Kane, a.k.a. I have written down, the worst team talker of all time. Come on, lads, let's do it. Come on, lads, let's go out. Yeah, and that's the safe version, because he always adds the word fucking in between every word. Because I think he thinks that makes it dramatic and that inspires his nation. If Harry Kane's captain in England, I think they're going to be a bit devoid of. Tell you what, Ritik, England are really devoid of anything exciting up the top. I know you've got Phil Foden and Jack Grealish, but who have they got to look up? They've got to look up to Harry Kane, who they've
got a couple like that. That's a bit slanderous. They've got Jadon Sancho.
Oh, Jadon Sancho, but he won't play because it's Southgate, and he'll start Grealish and Mount up front. No, he'll start Mount and Sterling up front with Kane. So
I'll tell you what I feel about Harry Kane in England. Though I'm sorry to cut you off. Harry Kane is the captain that England deserve as long as Southgate is the manager. He's the one England deserve. Honestly, I hate the fact that he's captain, and the best captain choice is unfortunately injured and is probably going to miss the tournament, and that's Jordan Henderson.
Yeah.
In Henderson's absence, Harry Kane has adopted this persona that I'm the most important person. I'm going to lead by example. And let's be honest, he might have won the Golden Boot at the World Cup, but Jordan Henderson was running that team. Jordan Henderson was the one telling Dele Alli and Lingard to stay in their defensive positions and attack. He was the one who was helping out the centre-backs by screening them. He was the one who single-handedly tried to take on Rakitic and Modric in the semi-final of a World Cup, and he came out trumps probably 50% of the time. I think Harry Kane is one of the worst choices for captain. I don't like him as a captain. I think it's too much pressure on him. He needs to be there to score goals, and that's all he needs to be burdened with.
Yeah, and I was going to give him a 4 out of 10, but we do have to remember we have to minus a point because he didn't square it against Croatia, so it's downgraded to a 3 out of 10 as well.
Yeah, I think 3 is fair for Harry Kane. After the whole Amazon series, 3. He doesn't deserve more.
Go on, give it the next one.
Going on from one undeserved captain to a deserved captain, we have the land of the golden oldies. We have Croatia. And their captain, former Ballon d'Or and Golden Ball winner, it is Luka Modric.
No. Don't read out
Um,
that description. Read out my description of Luka Modric.
Alex, Croatia, semicolon. Luka Modric, old and decrepit.
Thank you.
This is all because Conte outran him, didn't he?
Yeah.
And you thought he was finished.
Yeah, he's not finished. It's just Zidane. I'm a little annoyed because Zidane's been called a terrible manager, even though he spent the entire season dealing with Toni Kroos and Luka Modric, two players who literally can't run. And that's not even just happened this season. Luka Modric is still on the floor from when Frankie de Jong floored him in 18-19 Champions League. But I feel like Croatia is set to fail a little bit this Euros. They're going to go down a bit and probably get to the round of 16. I'd like to pace through Modric quickly on my side. I'll give him a 5 out of 10.
I'm gonna give him a 7. I'm gonna give him a 7 solely on his heroics in the last tournament. I think he's a great player. I think when, again, as we've said so many times before, a different ability comes out when you're playing for your country, and that definitely is there for Luka Modric.
Okay, let's go to the Czech Republic. The captain of their team is Vladimir Darida from Hertha Berlin. He's 30 years old. He won the Czech Footballer of the Year in 2017. You can tell I was having a lot of fun looking at these. There's one interesting fact. He broke the distance covered record in the Bundesliga, and in 2020, and then the next game he broke it again. So clearly a workhorse. I was reading into him a bit. I think he's very well respected in the Czech Republic. Based off of that, and I always like a midfielder who covers a lot of ground. I'm going to give him an 8 out of 10, Rittik.
Yeah. When you have an engine in your team, whether it's for your club or your country, I think it's a great thing.
Leading
and
by
it really
example.
helps. Leading by example, definitely. And I don't. From whatever I've seen of Hertha Berlin, it's not a headless chicken run. He's running to cover for his fellow teammates. He's running to break lines, running with and without the ball. And it's just good to see he doesn't tire. He has the stamina to go the distance, and that's what you need. That's really what you need in an international tournament. And to be fair, when he was told about breaking the record, he said it's a nice statistic, but I would have rather had a goal and a point. And that's the right attitude to take, I feel.
Very much.
Because we get very caught up in the statistics, but it's the actual players who know what will bring the most joy to them, and it's rarely the numbers.
Fair enough. Shall we cover the last team in Group D? I know it's your favourite nation. Take it away.
It is Scotland, and obviously when we were talking with Get German Football News'
Tom Fenton. I feel like we reference him every podcast.
We reference him a lot. And I was bringing the point to Tom about Scotland and Germany, and basically saying how Scotland have a lot of more natural leaders. And he agreed, actually. But the leader who is fair clear out of all of them is Andy Robertson. Had a tough season at Liverpool. He still contributed where he can. And I feel like out of the Liverpool players, he's the one who's been diligently doing his job, unlike his fellow fullback, Trent Alexander-Arnold. Robertson is a good captain. Scotland have reached their first tournament since, I believe, England 96. And I think he's the proper, archetypal hard man. He's a shithouser. I don't like it when United come up against Robertson, because he always has those tackles. He always has that blood and thunder in him. But that's exactly what Scotland need.
What do you rate him?
I give him a solid 8. Give him a solid 8.
I'll match that. I agree as well with your point of blood and thunder. My favourite memory of Andy Robertson was in the 18-19 season when Liverpool stopped City's unbeaten season, and Robertson began a press at the halfway line and chased the ball all the way back to the left back zone for City, and for moments he felt like he was running faster than how far City could pass it. It was very fun to watch. Wow. But yeah, I'll match an 8 out of 10. Do you want to kick us off our final group, Group E?
Oh my. We're gonna start off with obviously get the tougher one out of the way. It's Slovakia because neither Alex nor I know who's actually gonna be the captain.
Yeah, and that's not we. You guys know we do a lot of research on Eurowatch, but I'll mate, if someone can at me and tell me who the captain of Slovakia is, I'll be impressed because Google says it's Marat Hamšík. In the recent games, it's Žirant Kuča, and on transfer marks they don't even list the captain. I've not seen that before. So Marat Hamšík, I know, playing in China. Kuča, I've heard of him on FIFA. Yeah, I say we give him a DNF for not being clear enough.
Yeah. Let's give him a DNF. I love Marek Hamsik, former Napoli captain, big man. Yeah, but that's about
It's a solid.
that's about it.
Solid.
It's a solid diff. Yeah.
I'll take us to Sweden next with another player who's boring and fun at the same time. Sebastian Larsson. Yes, really, the 35-year-old Sebastian Larsson who was tearing it up for Sunderland is the listed captain for Sweden. Usually it's Andreas Granqvist, but he's made I think 2 appearances or 4 games this season in the Swedish league, so I don't think he's playing. But yeah, it's Seb Larsson. Rittik, I think we should just give him a lower rating simply because he hasn't retired yet.
Yeah. That I definitely agree with that. Definitely agree with that.
Well, we say this now. Watch him score an absolute thunderbolt for free kick against Spain. But
Yeah.
I'll give him a 4 out of 10.
Yeah, definitely agree.
Go on, you take one of the last 2 teams. Go on, you take it.
I'll take Spain. I'll take Spain because Alex has written Sergio Ramos, old dickhead. I'm gonna argue with that because Sergio Ramos is the last of his kind. He is the last of his kind.
He's the last.
Obviously,
dickhead.
no, yeah, I'll tell you why because Sergio Ramos his stats sort of confound everything he does. And I'll tell you why. It's because Sergio Ramos has within his Spanish career won 2 Euros, 1 World Cup, all 3 back to back, been part of like the most prominent Spain and the most prominent Spanish team in history, probably one of the most prominent Real Madrid teams in history. And he's been the centerpiece of both those sides. And he has scored a remarkable 23 goals for Spain. He is currently the top scoring player for Spain who is still actively playing.
Yeah, I know the rating's gonna be high. I say old dickhead kind of in tongue in cheek because he's like he always wins. He's like the big team. He's like Bayern Munich. Like you're jealous of how good he is, and he's but I think it's worse because he's not like a Philip Lahm where he sort of gets on with being one of the best defenders in the world. Like it feels like he wants everyone to know that. Which if I was a Real Madrid fan, I'd love, but I'm not a Real Madrid fan, so I dislike. But I'll match whatever rating you give.
Yeah. So I'm gonna give him a proper 7. I'm gonna give him a proper 7 because he has a big challenge where there are not many experienced players in the team. He's the last of them. He's literally the last of them. I think just him and
I'd go higher than
Busquets.
I'd go 8. I'd go 8 or 9.
It's fair. It's fair. I don't rate Spain, so it's fair. Moving to the last one. It's the single greatest forward in world football right now. It's Robert, 4 goals against Real Madrid, Lewandowski.
I would say
Alex has written superstar best captain.
I would say yeah, I wrote that because I will say I hadn't written down Group F yet, and I forgot Ronaldo was in this tournament. But still, I think it's fair to argue that Robert Lewandowski is the best captain at the Euros. I think he's better than Harry Kane. I think he's better than Cristiano Ronaldo. The other names below that, like Hugo Lloris and Manuel Neuer. I think Lewandowski, if not the best captain, he's the one who's in his prime. I don't know what you think of that, but I'd like to give Lewandowski a 9 out of 10. But overall in quality, I think he's the best captain at Euro 2020/21.
I'll say this much. I know at the last World Cup, after their performances, all the senior players of Poland were lambasted by the Polish public. There's a perception within Poland that Lewandowski doesn't give his best for the Polish national team like he does for Bayern Munich. Obviously, a huge gulf in quality when you consider their teammates, but there is a bit of lethargy that's associated with Lewandowski. Yes, he scored 66 goals for Poland. 66 goals is an absolutely ludicrous number for anybody to score for their country, for sure. But there's this perception that he doesn't take the Polish national team as seriously as a captain as he does take Bayern Munich, and I think that's a bit unfair because he is doing his best. There's only so much he can do as the captain of Poland, and it's a big job. It's a big job. Obviously, the other when he's not playing or he's substituted, Wojciech Szczesny usually takes the captain's armband, and he's been a bit more. He's more of a beloved figure in Poland. So there is that question mark over Lewandowski. I'd give him a solid 7 or 8. Again, another lead by example kind of player.
I think we'll meet in the middle and we'll go with an 8. 8 out of 10 for Lewandowski. That is the end of Eurowatch today. We have brought you lots of different facts, whether it's Artem Dzyuba wanking on camera, or whether Lewandowski is disliked in his country. And also, please, if you do know the captain of Slovakia, we would really love to know.
Please add us at EuroExpert_ all caps.
And or at Ristic J Sakar. Please don't forget your own Twitter handle. But
yes.
Thank you very much for listening, everybody, and that will conclude Eurowatch. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.